We are live and direct, and this training is going to be kind of cool. Can't wait to get into this and can't wait to get started. This is my exclusive, very special, how I leverage thousands of dollars of expert support, scale and automate various businesses. This is not just one business, and I can do this from a cell phone in less time than it takes to like shower. I can build websites while I'm walking. I can send proposals while I'm working out, or I can create entire social media campaigns while just hanging out in the garden where I've been today. In fact, all of the things that you are going to see in this presentation are the result of literally one prompt. And that one prompt did the video that you've just seen. It did the slides that you're going to see. It did the website that you signed up through, and it's done a big bunch of other stuff that I'll share with you in a second. So this is going to be fun, and it's going to give you an inkling of how you can get more out of AI, the things that you actually pay for, than you possibly ever thought possible. Now, I want to make sure that this comes with a fair warning. If you don't use any AI tools and you don't use ChatGPT or Claude or any of the basic Google Gemini, Manus, any of these things, if you don't use Grok, then this is not for you. But just by show of hands in the chat, who do we have in the chat right now that is a frequent AI flyer? You can put a 1 in the chat as we get moving. And what I'm going to do is actually give you some things that you can take away and keep. So if you stick around to the end, I want to give you a prompt starter pack so you can go and use some of the things that I show you in this live. And I want to also give you a skill starter pack, which will help you with what I'm talking about when I talk about skills. And you think this is the voice prompt skill. It's actually about voice prompts and skills. So these are 3 things that I'm going to cover in this presentation. And I want to make sure that you've got access to something so you don't have to take notes. That sound like a plan? So make sure you stick around all the way through to the end. And when I give you the link, when I get towards the end, I'll show you exactly where you need to go to get these. I can also send these out on email. So if you think, oh man, I've missed it, as long as I see you in the chat at the time when I drop the link, I'll give you the contact details as well, just to make sure you can find that, right? Does it make sense? Everyone's 111 in the chat, right? So I've got some fun stuff to give you. More importantly, I've got some exciting things to share with you as we move through. So people are joining, people are coming on in. We're going to be on for about 60 minutes, maybe a little bit more. I want to get as much of this in as possible, and I want to make sure that you guys have the best possible experience, right? So I'm also going to do something fun for those who stay right to the end. I have a new group coaching session that I'm running, and I'm going to talk to you more about that at the end. But what I thought would be cool is one person who participates the most, who's active in the chat, who answers some questions. I might, if there's still people on at the end, might just give away a full month's access to the coaching room for free. That sound good? So I have one goal today, And I want to leave you in a position where it's easy for you to talk to AI. And I want to give you the skill so you can actually ask it for what you want properly. And I also want to show you how to save what works for you so that you can make it repeat over and over so you don't have to do that same prompt again. That sound fair? Sound like a deal, right? And we're going to do all of this for free in the next 55 minutes. So the big focal point for this presentation is how do you actually get more out of the AI that you actually pay for without needing to be a cyborg, without coding. And this is for people, even if you've tried doing more with AI and you've kind of backed out and thought, man, this is just not working. It will work for you today if you follow the steps that I'm going to share with you, right? So that's where I'm going with it. That's the game plan. Definitely not a coding class. I'm not going to be teaching you how to code, even though I did say earlier that I can build a website while I'm walking. And I'll show you some of the advanced things that I've created where you can build up to, where maybe in the future coding becomes something that you can do. So the game plan for this, no jargon, nothing complicated, nothing that you don't already have. And you're just going to talk and things are going to happen, right? So that's the plan. And by the end, you would have done three things. You've talked to AI by voice. You've created a prompt that gets you a real answer, not just any old answer, a good answer. And you've also saved a skill inside of your AI that you can run over and over and over again. When you understand this and you see how this works, because knowing and seeing are two different things, right? I want you to see how this works. And I guess a lot of folks are probably sick of just seeing those tips and someone pops up on a reel and like, hey, do this thing and you'll make money. I don't just want to give you some tips. I want you to be able to take the things I give you for free at the end and go and implement this and try and carve your own path to better prompts, better results, and basic automations, which mean you don't have to ever prompt the same prompt ever again. Sound good? Right. I will try and do a live build as well during the presentation towards the end, and you kind of see how it works for me. I will also show you where I've gone with this in a short period of time, so you can also see what's possible, but you know that the journey is your journey and you can take as long as you need to get to that. So if you run a business or you've got a job and you need to impress your boss, or maybe you're at college or school, maybe you've got an idea, a project, a side hustle, you pay for AI and you're barely scratching the surface. If you're in this chat, this is for you. If at any time you think it's not for you, you can leave. So that makes it dead easy. And the underpinning principle, I think, in all of this is you don't actually want AI, right? Quite often you might have heard people say, you don't want the drill, you want the hole in the wall, right? So you can hang your favorite portrait. You don't want AI. Nobody wants more AI. You don't wake up in the morning thinking, I can't wait to buy more things. What you need is the outcome. You don't want the chatbot, you want the website or the video or the plan. More importantly, you want the time back. Does that make sense to everybody, right? So AI is the best way to get time back. Why is time important? Well, money comes back, time doesn't, right? AI will always be there, time won't. So if we can get you time back, that's time well spent, because you swap an hour with me and that saves you 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, 15 hours a week. What's that actually worth? And what would you do with that time? If you just got 1 hour a week back, what could you do in that 1 hour? You can let me know in the comments as well. Let me know in the chat. And it's important that you kind of know which side of the fence that you're on, right? So if you want cleverer tools and more features and newest models and another subscription, you might not be in the right spot. If you want the things built, the time back, the idea shipped, and to be able to repeat good results, then you're definitely in the right spot. And it would be good to see which side of the fence you sit on, if this is resonating, this is making sense, because nobody wants to prompt. You want good answers, right? The prompt is the means to get good answers. And some people prompt terribly and they get terrible answers. And then they believe that AI is terrible, and they go out on the internet and they say, oh, I'm sick of AI slop. Anybody heard of AI slop? These slides look pretty good, right? One prompt. And not just the slides, that one prompt did everything I need to potentially launch an entire business. This brand didn't exist this morning, right? And it's one prompt. You definitely don't want another course, because you want to be able to do the thing today, tonight, in one sitting, right? This morning. You don't want to spend 12 weeks learning something. And in the AI world, that stuff goes out of date so fast that if you take the latest AI course, I was looking online the other day and I saw a local university in the UK offering an AI degree for next year. And they had already printed the materials, they'd publish what you're going to get in the course. A year of AI development is a long time. And I would be very cautious to go and invest thousands of pounds or dollars in a program that the material changes so fast that it's impossible for the gurus to keep up. It's impossible for anybody to keep up. In this last week, there's been 3 or 4 updates to 3 or 4 of the most popular AI models. Who knows where this is going to be in a year, right? You definitely don't want to be technical. Does anybody wake up in the morning and think, oh, I can't wait to be more technical, right? I didn't actually want to be the person who did all the tech stuff. I just wanted the result. I wanted to get paid. And some people become more technical than others, but you don't become more technical than others by wanting to be technical. You become more technical than others by getting out there and trying your hardest to get the result. And some of you guys have been trying so hard to get results for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years or more that what I'm going to show you today is actually a weight off your shoulders. This is like a treat. This is something really special, because only in the last couple of years have these technologies, the ability to do what I'm going to show you today, actually been available. Prior to that, you would have to do the work or you would pay an insane amount of money. You just want simplicity, something you can use, and something takes minutes, not hours to set up. And then, you know, you've got to watch all these videos and tutorials and read these big books of, you know, how to do all this technical stuff. I actually threw a big old book for Microsoft 365. This thing was huge, and it was from quite a few years ago, and it was Excel and Word and all of this stuff. I threw it in the trash the other day because all of those things have got AI built in right now. Google Documents have got AI built in right now. But if it's like you don't understand how to talk to the AI, it's just the same as trying to be too technical, and it doesn't work. So I need to show you how to talk to the AI, right? So if you've never had much success with AI or online or marketing or anything digital, just picture the first time that it works. If you're really successful, picture saving 10, 15, 20 hours a week to do more of the stuff you like doing while it still matters, right? And just try and picture that in your mind as we move forward, right? Because your time is now, and it's not because of some crazy countdown. It's because the AI has finally got to a point where we can say with confidence that most people who understand business or have an idea or have a calling or have some kind of venture that they want to undertake, even if that's like selling on eBay, something simple, most people can benefit from this. If you're in school or you're in employment, you can benefit from this. There's no barrier anymore. The only barrier to doing any of this stuff is you. And you don't want to get caught up in jargon. You don't want to get caught up in costs or crazy things. These are walls that will stop you from progressing. I just want to give you the easy route. That makes sense? So really important that you understand that people who are getting value from AI and all of the things available are not smarter than anybody else, right? They're not more technical. They just talk, they ask properly, and they repeat what works. Right? If you put those 3 words in the chat, right, you can put voice prompt skills, or you can put talk, ask, repeat. Most people are good at talking and asking. What most people are not good at is repeating what works. Does that resonate? You can type "this is me" in the chat if this makes sense, right? And really, if you get those things right, you know, hey, I can talk, I can ask, and I can repeat. The only question that's really left is like, are you going to start today, or are you going to start tomorrow, or are you going to start in 6 months? The tools are ready. The methods are simple, and the gap that you need to fill is just a decision, but it's your decision, right? I can show you some fun stuff and I can get excited about all this and I can really simplify something, teach you something fun, but you have to make the choice, right? So if you're going to make the choice and you're ready to make the choice, you can make a commitment to everybody in the chat right now. And I'm talking to you specifically. This is not me coming on saying, hey guys, and there's, a load of different people around. This is you. I'm talking to you personally. If you've sat out of doing anything with AI and this is like your first time and you feel like something's built for other people, don't think like that. This is your time now. If you've been using AI for a while, you've not had results and you think, man, I wish I could be like whoever you've seen online, don't think like that. It's your time now. And it does come down to how you communicate, how you ask the AI, but more importantly, how you actually repeat the results, right? Dead easy. Mentioned it earlier. If you don't want to be part of it, you can decide in advance. You can close the tab, close the laptop, go about your morning or your afternoon, and then you just miss it for a little bit longer. But at some point, you will come back to this, right? And if you're leaving, that's fine, but don't leave it too long. Look 6 months ahead. You could be leveraging the same tools you're using now, the same subscription, the same price. One version did what I'm going to show you, and one version just carried on doing the same thing. Which version do you think would have the better results and the better chance of not necessarily success, but being able to cut through all of the noise for themselves, for the business and the brand? Of course, it's the people who start now. And that goes without saying. You've just got to ask, which version do you want? So I want to kind of show you real quick, or talk to you real quick about how I arrived at this spot 27 years after I first decided that the internet was going to pay my bills. And the internet was just emerging back then. And right now, we're at a point where AI is still just emerging. It's a ridiculously low number of people actually use AI to even a percentile of what is capable of doing. And I want to give you that advantage, right? So if you want the advantage, type advantage in the chat. Some of the stuff I've done in the past has worked. Some of the stuff has cost me a big bunch of money. I've built lots of businesses. I've failed at lots of stuff. I've stood on stages. I've spent tons of money trying to figure these things out. And I've learned the hard way so you don't have to, right? That 2 Comma Club award was $1 million. In fact, $1 million selling e-com products quite a few years ago, actually, now. And I've never looked back from there, and I've had some great experiences. But at that point, we never had AI. I know that if I had AI during that time, that it would have been 20, 30, 40 times more than what we managed to accumulate in terms of revenue. And look, back in the day, 27 years ago, we wanted to be DJs and rappers. There was a group of us, we were friends, we wanted to go out there and do music. That was the thing. It was like, hey, we want to do music. We registered a domain name on my friend's credit card. It was like after the money back for like $9.99 for years, because nobody ever had any money. And we had to figure out, how do we have a website? The only thing that we knew back then, it was the .com boom, is we must have a website. We must have a website. And we borrowed money. We tried to figure it all out. And we went through every different door we could to get a website. In the end, I figured out how to build websites, because websites were insanely expensive. They were insanely expensive. It took months just to find out someone who would actually build a website for you, never mind how much it cost, right? And it was more expensive to do the research than it was to build it in some cases. And if anybody's been there and you've messed around with things like HTML builders, Dreamweaver, and all of these things from years ago, before broadband internet, before fast fiber optic internet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're new to this and you're quite young, maybe you don't. But one thing for sure, if you've got to go watching tutorials and going through all sorts of different training for many, many years, chances are you missed the boat. There's still people right now who don't have a domain name. They still think that the internet's crazy, and they still make good money. Maybe they're chopping up food, or they're planting crops, or they're doing something on the land. Those jobs are great if you can get them, but there's nothing quite like internet money and automated recurring revenue. Here's the fast forward, right? Instead of having to figure it all out, today I wrote one prompt. In fact, I didn't write the prompt. I spoke a paragraph through this microphone. And in order to do that, I held down a couple of keys on my keyboard and I just spoke my mind. The AI interpreted what I gave it, and it gave me all of these folders, 9 folders full of content. It gave me an offer, a brand, a character, this entire webinar slide deck. It gave me scripts. It gave me a website. It gave me reels that I could use on social media, and it gave me workbooks that I'm going to give you for free at the end. That is progression. That is evolution. That is what we're actually capable of today if you understand how to talk to the AI, ask the AI, and repeat what works for you. Is that exciting? Does that make sense? Everybody's like energized by this. In the last 3 days, I've said, actually dictated more than this. This is more now. I've actually dictated or talked 19,839 words at the point where I've recorded this video, at the point where I've done this and put the screenshot on. That means I've done 162 AI prompts just with voice. And that has created me, if you can imagine one prompt has created all of this, imagine what all of the prompts have created across all of the things I'm working on for myself and clients. That's like machine mode, right? That's like beast mode. But still, I've been in the garden with the kids. I've managed to walk 3 or 4 miles. I've managed to hang out with my little girl and watch some cartoons. I've managed to figure out what's for lunch. I've managed to go out and do some other stuff as well. And all of that, I've also managed to run several businesses, build a big bunch of client projects, and it all comes down to this process. Exciting. So, honest questions you can answer in the chat. Are you sure that AI can't help you in any of this stuff? Or were you actually never shown how to talk to it properly? Because the first answer, if you think that AI can't help you in whatever you're doing in your life, you're wrong. That's where we are. The truth is, you were probably not shown how to talk to it, or you made your own assumptions and you tried your best, which is fine. What would you actually change if there was only one thing in your way? It's quite easy when you think about that. It's like, well, if this is the only thing in my way of being able to be successful is the fact that I've never been shown, surely you just ask someone to show you, right? Now, I've always run my own thing, 27 years, businesses, no safety net, total risk. I know some of you in the chat have done that yourself, and some people in this chat right now, I know you're running big nonprofits, you're running big organizations, and there's a lot to be admired doing that, right? Some people just want a job, and that's fine. I've always wanted to build things, and I've always known that these things are super important. Websites, videos, music, the stuff that actually makes the business real to the outside world, designing leaflets and posters and signage and all of that stuff. I've always wanted to build things. But there's also been a time when I've had to detach from the building and get with the marketing and the selling. And that's where a lot of people fall down. Like I said, we wanted to be rappers. We wanted to rap, wanted to DJ, wanted to be heard. None of that stuff was cheap. And websites and web designers and all of this crazy stuff, it just literally stopped the business in its tracks for a long time until we figure it out. It cost thousands to figure it out, not to build, to figure stuff out, right? And those days are over. Back then, trying to figure stuff out just nearly stopped it in its tracks and took it all out before we'd even started. Right now, you're at a spot where with a little bit of voice prompting, a little bit of asking in the right way and repeating what works, you can pretty much do anything. You don't need to go and find a web designer anymore because you can get the knowledge and the skills from AI if you understand these principles. If every asset that you've ever tried to create in the past was a mountain, this is now a track that you can move forward on that will help that mountain become a molehill. this is a big realization that the thing that was in my way was never the idea, because I've got ideas for days. I can wake up in the morning and think, oh, I want to do all this stuff. Is anybody else like that? You're like, oh man, I need to change the world. I've got this big idea. But without a team and a whole heap of money, it's very difficult to actually put those ideas into practice, right? The big message, if you take away nothing else from this training, is the tools change. And you were probably doing the right things at the wrong time or with the wrong people. Things can change slowly, but in the last 2 years, they've changed all at once. In this last week, they've changed all at once. Now machines can do the bit that everybody lost their mind about, but you've still got to know how to ask. Make sense? Now, as I showed you on the little graph, I've really gone all in on talking to the AI. So I was sending this. I did this in a presentation a few months ago. Yes, I was voice noting ChatGPT and using voice notes and all of these things. And I've always used my voice for things. Over the last few days, I've started to go all in and not type. So in 3 days, 20,000 words, whatever it was, not one of those has been typed. I've typed more by using my voice than I've ever typed using my keys. And this is just so good, right? This is so good. And the more I talked like a person, the better the results became. And I'm wondering, like, why is this the case? And there's quite a lot of folks there right now watching this who are typing. The big mental block that says, I will not type, and this means on my phone as well, I will only talk. If you can get over this, instantly your results become better. If you go back to the rapping days, it took me less than a 60-second rap. And no, I'm not going to rap. I was the DJ, right? I wasn't one of the rappers. It took me less than a 60-second rap to turn out all of these slides, the videos, the introduction, and a big bunch of stuff, because I know the formula and I know how to ask and I know how to automate, right? A good voice prompt is less than 60 seconds of talking. And the amount of content you get back from a good voice prompt is insanely more than you would if you tried to type. One reason is when you type in, you hit spelling mistakes and you hit punctuation and you have to go back and you have to delete and then you look at it and then your fingers get tired. And all of that stuff amounts to you not typing that much. Because if you was really good at typing, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because you'd be a best-selling author. You'd have a book out there. Not many people wake up in the morning and think, man, I can't wait to type more stuff. Where we are right now is one verse and the business is building. You can speak your prompts on your mic, on your phone, just to your computer directly, and AI will do more from a speaking prompt than it will ever do from a typing prompt. And that's just, I've proven it myself and I will never go back, right? You don't realize how fast you can talk. And this is literally a game changer. If you looked at the diagram before, I think it was like 160, 170 words a minute, right? I've had it over 200 and you just flow. This is a game changer for everybody. And I want to show you how to do this to the highest standard for free, right? Once you talk, your prompts get better. You use your voice, your prompts get better. Once you've got good prompts, you can save them and run them repeatedly. And that's where the magic really kicks in, right? Building this thing, this whole presentation, while I've been out in the garden and sat on my phone and, you know, maybe I could have had a glass of wine in the evening and still done all of this stuff. I literally, it's like, well, it's 7:29 in the PM right now. I only waited so long because I want people to be up on the west coast of the US. I could have done this at noon. This was ready this morning, done and dusted. Made a few edits, but I used my voice to do it, right? This took less time to build this entire thing than it once took just to find a designer on like 99 designs of Fiverr. And that's the big discovery for you guys today. Talk to the AI, ask it properly, save what works, 3 things, and the wall that you've hit for years will go. It'll disappear. You don't have to worry about that anymore, right? I'm going to show you the 3 in detail and give you the encouragement. Like I said earlier, you could take the encouragement and do with it as you please, but I'll show you the same 3 things in order, and you can have a go at doing these before you leave, or you can get the freebies at the end and go and practice, and then you can come to me and say, man, I've tried this stuff and it's insane. That's what I'm hoping for, right? So if you can talk to the AI, you can ask it like I'm asking you, and you can then automate what comes out, and the good stuff, which I'll show you how to do on this call. What's actually stopping you? Because it was never the brains. It probably wasn't the money. It was really nobody sat you down and showed you these things until today. And if they have shown you these things and you're well-versed in all of this stuff, I'm sure you'll learn some stuff as well. So let me know in the comments if this is making sense, if this is exciting, if you're never going to type again. And I'll give you the tools, I'll give you the access, I'll give you the techniques, and I'll show you how to automate so that your prompts turn into skills, and those skills become replicable in everything you do. And then maybe you can get to a point where you can just say whatever, and it builds an entire whatever, right? You'll see how this works. You'll be super excited, and you can go to town on this. Make sense? So there is a little trap in all of this, and it has a name. And most people go to AI and they just type in a lazy line, make me an email, write me an email, right? And they just get a crappy answer back, a generic answer. And they quietly make a belief in the mind, which is a big doubt. You know, beliefs are doubt. And if you've got a bunch of beliefs until you're certain, then there are always going to be doubts, right? There's nothing you can say to tell me otherwise. I like to work on proof and certainty. And if you make a belief that AI doesn't work for you, you'll never use it again. You was doing the right thing at the wrong time, right? And if you go in there and say, write me an email to explain why I can't come to work today, it will write you an email, but it'll be terrible. If you use your voice to articulate what it is that you want, the quality is going to be better. Make sense? Everybody's excited. Ethel's excited. We're all excited, right? So there's a technical myth that also underpins this, that only coders or only, geeks, only people who are like, science people were ever going to get anything good out of AI. And for everybody else, it's for making, silly little things, emails, whatever. And it's just, oh man, we don't really need that. I'll type it. You've got to get out of that mind frame, right? It's for you. And the day to use it is now, right? Sometimes AI just feels slow. And I brought this down into a little framework that you can memorize. So write this down, right? S is for you skipped your voice. You go on there, you type, oh, my fingers are sore. Oh, I have to press delete a few times. I don't really know what to type. Does anybody sit there and think, I don't know what to type? They call it writer's block for a reason. You sit there, you look at the thing, you're like, oh, I don't know what to type. Is there anybody here that doesn't know what to say? You type less. Less means less. If you give it 2 lines, you get a poor response. You try doing the same thing with voice and articulate what it is that you want, like I'm talking to you right now, and you see the difference in 30 seconds. So you don't skip the voice, leverage the voice. Then the L in slow is for lazy prompts, right? So you do the 1 line, no detail, generic in, generic out. You try and find a prompt off some YouTube video. Got to go and find this thing. So you have to go and research it. You have to go and look for it. You have to go, what does even a good prompt look like? And you just blame the tool, right? So you're skipping the voice, you're lazy in what you're asking, and then you get the one-offs. You do one great thing with AI, and you can't remember the prompt. You can't remember what you said. You can't remember what you typed. And you did a great design, or you did a great video, or you did a great social media post, a great email that time, but it never happened again. You've got to force the habit of no longer doing one-offs, no longer being lazy, and no longer typing. And if you can get through those things, just keep this in your mind, write it down, stick it to the computer, you won't hit the walls, right? Because those beliefs that you're not technical enough, all of that stuff that you put up, these barriers in your mind, just go away. They will stop you before you start. Today, we're going to alleviate them forever, right? Same symptom, 3 times, you blame yourself, you blame the tool, you drift, like you don't do it anymore, and you go and look for another shiny object. Shiny objects don't exist. It's a sequencing problem. You're doing the right thing at the wrong time. You form a belief that it doesn't work because it's totally the wrong time, and you never touch it ever again. Think of diets. Oh, I tried that diet once, it never worked, but I'll try another 6 as long as they're new. Crazy, right? Hopefully that's making sense. You see it all the time. Well, I couldn't build a website, so I decided the technical world wasn't for me. That was the wall. It wasn't the truth. I couldn't get the AI to do any of this stuff, so I decided, it's just for experts, or it's just for beginners. It's a toy. You create some kind of belief just to make the excuse and go back to doing what you already did, right? It's just a reframe that you've got to acknowledge. You write it in the chat as well. It's the right instinct. It's the wrong move, right? It's the right thing at the wrong time. Reach for the AI. That's the right instinct. Going out there and trying to find somebody to do this for you is the wrong move. And I want to give you skills that you can put into practice and build on from today, right? It's not about learning to be technical. It's the opposite of the trap. The walls will come down on their own. And I believe I can prove, to use my own model deliberately, the way to doing this is through your voice. Not a keyboard, not code, not a course, your voice. And when you get this and you report back to me in a week's time, and you said, this has changed everything I do, well, we've got the proof there and then. Do you see what I'm talking about? And the fact that I'm actually using slides and videos and backgrounds and all of the things that I've created with one prompt that I've vocalized this morning through this very microphone. That would have been impossible to type, right? It would have been impossible to type. I got it all out in one prompt. The way out from no longer using AI as a toy, or underestimating what it can do, or not doing good prompts and just like having a panic attack when you look at the screen, is this: talk, ask, repeat. Write that in the chat. Talk, ask, repeat. Right, there's only a few people watching this right now, and I want every single one of you to be like, talk, ask, repeat. I dropped this on it at the last minute. I'm like, I need to train people today. I didn't have to do this. It's hot in here. It's like 40 degrees. I've got all sorts of crazy stuff I need to be doing. And I decided that I'm going to come and do this because I know how valuable this is to you, right? You're going to talk to your AI with your voice, not typing. And you do that so you actually say enough. You're going to ask your AI properly so that the answer that you get is not generic. And you're going to repeat the good stuff by saving what works as a skill. This is it. I want to get into it and show you, right? So I'm going to do as much as I can live on the screen. Are you ready to get started? Ready to get into this? There's a few worries that you might have out loud before we get into it. I'm not technical enough. Don't worry. You'll be able to do this. It's simple. I made it as simple as possible, right? I've tried. It was rubbish. Forget all of that stuff. This is the new time now. All of these models updated 2 days ago, and you didn't try what I'm going to show you. You don't have time to learn a system. It's no system to learn. The 3 habits that we're going to install into your mind, right? And you've just wrote them in the chat, right? So the first thing is talking. I'm using this app. You can grab this URL. I'll show it you again in a second. I could put this up in the chat as well for you, so you've actually got access to this dead easy. This is a cool little app, and I didn't think, oh man, am I ever going to use this thing? You can go, you can click on the button after we've finished on there. You get access to it. You get a trial. If you take this, you get a month for free. I get a month for free as well, right? So it's a little bit of a trade, but a month free of this thing. In 3 days, I wrote 20,000 words by speaking, and my AI output has improved by like 5 million%, right? It's insane. So if all it did is just improve what you do with AI, then I think it's like $12 a month after that. You make the decision at the end of the 30 days, but it's got some cool challenges in there as well. And it also allows you to get more days for free if you dictate 100 words, right? So first step is to talk. And I explained to you that when we actually talk to the AI, all we need to do is hold down 2 keys on the keyboard, or if you install this on your cell phone, a little button appears anytime you click in a text field. So if you're going to write on social media, you're going to write to AI, you're going to write an email, whatever it is, you can literally press 2 keys on your keyboard, or you can press the little button on your cell phone, and whenever you speak, it instantly and very cleverly turns that speech into text, and then it's ready to send. So you can review it, and it's so good. It understands when you go or ah or you make a mistake, and it fixes it for you on the fly, which is even cooler because that means you less mistakes. It punctuates stuff for you, and it's like one of the coolest things ever, right? So at the end of this, click that link, grab it for free, take a month, and then just thank me in the morning, right? So that's the first piece. This tool is insanely good, right? And then you're using the right tools that can talk to everything. If you're not using this, most things do have a voice mode, but nothing is like this. Nothing that I've ever seen, and I want everybody to be using it, right? So I'm going to talk, not type, right? And I want to try and spend like 60 seconds doing that. And I want to talk a task into existence. As I'm doing that, I also want to show you one other little cool thing in this app is you can actually set shortcuts. So if I say call review, it will instantly paste a chunk of text that says, hey, let's get on a call to figure out your problems. So you can make these shortcuts, which just saves you even more time. So if you've got your favorite prompts, you don't have to say it all ever again. You just save it as a shortcut and you just say a keyword. Now that in itself is insane. Check it out. Click the link. I'll give you the link in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the screen and I'm going to share a prompt into AI. So I'm going to share a different screen now. I'll keep the slides. So this is Claude. So good evening, Danny. So we're doing it in real time. And what I want to do is I'm not going to type, so you won't hear the keyboard going ratty-tatty-tatty. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold down 2 keys. And this is a Windows machine, so I'm going to press Control and Windows, dead easy. Hold it down. And when I'm talking, I'm hoping this works on the live. I'm just going to give Claude a prompt, and I'm going to try and do this within 60 seconds, right? So less than 60 seconds. You'll see how much I type. So we'll start the clock now. Hey, I'm looking for some research on how to go out there and find the best possible customers for my online coaching business. I need you to go out there and research current methods that are working online so that I can take this information and use this information to help me build a better, more stable, regular recurring income. Ta-da! Like that was like 20 seconds. And I just said what I want. I'm looking for some research on how to go out there and find the best possible customers for my online coaching business. I need you to go out there and research current methods that are working online so I can take this information, use this information to help me build a better, more stable, regular, recurring income. I said it as I would say it, right? I didn't sit there thinking, what am I going to type? And then backspace and oh man, and up and down. I just said it. Let's just run that prompt on the side while I go back to the slides, because straight away you've noticed that the amount of words that came out of my mouth were far better formed and faster than they would ever have been if I would have sat there and tried to type this stuff, right? And that was just off the top of my head, right? Think what you could do if you just applied yourself and actually give it a moment of thought. Did you notice how much I said in like a beat? Right? It's actually going off there now and doing a big bunch of research, right? In under 60 seconds, I probably give that prompt more context than most people type in a day. If you was to go on there and spend a couple of minutes speaking your idea, your vision, knowing that when you pause and ah and stop, it doesn't write anything. It just waits for you. And if you do anything crazy, it fixes it, right? Make sense? Pretty cool, right? So there's the link again. Make sure you get that. I'm going to paste that link in the chat. This is for the tool. Copy it, open it in a new tab, save it. I'll make sure everybody gets a copy again at the end. This is the first step, talk. And now I've actually got a ton of stuff coming out of Claude, right? It's giving me a ton of stuff, right? Literally, is it still going? It's like all these things. So the architecture that makes the income recurring recurring middle tier offers. It's giving me loads of stuff. It's still going, right? So Claude's doing all that stuff from that one voice note. I didn't think about it. I just said it. Everybody going to go start talking to their AI? Now, what this actually gives you is speed, depth, flow, and ease. It means that you can walk around on your phone. It means you can do this when you're walking, running, jogging, swimming. Don't drop your phone in the water, right? If you got your earbuds in, you can even whisper to this thing. It's faster than typing. More gets said. There's no blank page freeze, and it works on any device. If you're not going to take advantage of this, you're leaving money on the table, right? You're leaving money on the table. And anybody in the chat who likes leaving money on the table, make yourself known right now. The next thing is knowing how to actually ask the AI for something useful, right? So I made a prompt, but, did I ask for something useful? Yes, I wanted research. And that was deliberate. I wanted research for a reason, right? Because if we do a generic prompt, help me make more recurring revenue, we'll get a terrible answer, right? If we give it something like that based on research first, we'll get an amazing answer. And I'll go into that in a second, right? So there's two ways you can ask AI for things. There's a lazy way. So you can say, write me a plan. Or you can ask properly by giving context, a goal, a structure. And you can do this thing what I call prompt for prompt. Write prompt for prompt in the chat, because this will give you the information that you actually need and want, right? This is different to just saying, write me an email, write me a plan, help me make more money. They're lazy, they're generic, they're typed. This is start with the context, which we said we want to make more recurring revenue, but the goal right now was to do research. I've structured this in a way that I can now go and do what I call prompt for prompt, right? The difference is the ask. So if I take this screen off, I'll stop the screen. Once again, I'll go back over here to my Claude, right? And look at all this stuff. Like all of this good stuff. And let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this, right? So I've got all of this good stuff, right? All of this good stuff. Other people's audiences, warm communities, referrals, LinkedIn, new layer buyer, all of this stuff, right? All of this stuff. It even says at the bottom, if I was pulling this into a plan, the through line is narrow the buyer and the outcome to one sentence. Want me to go deeper on any one leg? What you can do is you can go back and you can say, hold down your two fingers. Remember, we're going to talk. We're not going to type. Take all of the above information and formulate yourself a system prompt and ask yourself, using that prompt, what that ideal plan would be. The goal in this case is for you to review what you've just researched, turn that into a prompt that we can reuse, and then apply that prompt to this conversation and then surface the results of what we should do and how we should do it. Ta-da! You might get those words out better than I did, but that's what I wanted. Take all the above information, formulate yourself a system prompt, and then ask yourself, using that prompt, what the ideal plan would be. The goal in this case is for review what you've just researched, turn it into a prompt that we can reuse, and then apply that prompt to this conversation, surface the results, what you would do and how we should do it. If you get into this habit of research and then take the information, turn it into a prompt we can reuse, and ask yourself the prompt, where do you think you'll be in 6 months' time? Right? Tailoring a sophisticated strategy for Danny's coaching business. That's what it says on the screen. So while Claude is off to tailor me a sophisticated, architectured, reusable diagnostic prompt. All right, so it's Ian, right? Let's have a look, right? Part 1, the reusable prompt. Roll. You are a client acquisition recurring revenue architect for coaching and expert businesses. You treat better, find better customers, operating beliefs. Claude's giving itself a set of beliefs. I've spoke for 30 seconds, right? Recurring income is an architecture. This is good. Required inputs, method, output, style. Does anybody want that prompt for free? Is it all right if we just go on a little bit longer so I can give you a big bunch of cool stuff? Because do you prompt like this normally? Is this like your normal day-to-day when you use AI? Now it's like how to run it against the business. So it's taken its own prompts, it's applied that, and now it's still going, right? I've not got time to read it, but do you just want the prompt, or are you happy with what I've given you? Just put a 1 if you want the prompt, or you're just happy, you put a 2 if you're happy to continue. We're going to go a little bit longer. We've got about probably 20 minutes of this left, right? Like, he's giving me a sequence 90-day plan. I've spoke for 30 seconds. We've got this whole thing, right? We've got the whole thing, right? I'm going to copy. There's a copy button in the corner. I'm going to paste all of this up in the chat, so you can copy and paste it in your own life, right? Hopefully that works because it's huge. Oh, this is insane. If it's not like all gone in there, I'll make sure that I put it in a download for you, right? So I've got it on Claude. I'll save it. I'll put it in a download. So do you see the difference between typing some generic stuff, hey, help me make more money online, to do research and then asking it to turn it into a prompt that we can reuse and then like applying the prompt on its own thinking? Prompt for prompt, right? Make sense? Is this like the most exciting thing ever, or is everybody like, yeah, I just do that every day, Danny, and you're not really teaching me? Has anybody learned anything in the last like 10 minutes? Anybody learned anything in the last 10 minutes, right? Let me know. So the difference is in the ask, how I actually asked the AI and what it brought me in return. You see the difference, right? It's context, it's detail, it's structure. And then you're using its own examples on itself. You're telling it the situation, the goal, you're being specific, you're putting it in order, you're showing it what good looks like. You can upload screenshots and things. You can give it images, right? So it's pretty cool, right? You're not coding. You're briefing. You're doing a briefing. If you walk into the meeting room in the morning, you've got 25 people sat there all desperate to go on the lunch, and you're like, right, you guys, this is what we're going to do today. You wouldn't go in there and just type a word or send them a crappy email. You go in there with drive. You'd articulate your vision and your dreams and your goals and your objectives, and you don't do that with AI. It's insane. Everybody go and try this when we're finished, but make sure you talk. None of this typing business, right? None of this typing business. Now, this is the fun part, right? This is the fun part, right? And I want you to be very clear on this. I'm using Claude, but ChatGPT will do this. What we've just done is where most people will stop. They'll take the prompt, they'll run it, they'll get the information, they'll be like, oh, cool, I've got a plan, and they'll never use the plan, right? They get a good answer once, and then they close the window, they lose it forever. I save it. And I don't mean I save it in a Google Drive. You can do. I don't mean I paste it up in the chat. You can do. What I do is I save prompts as skills. And in my Claude, I have a skills folder. So you click your name in the corner. Works on ChatGPT as well. Go in Claude, you press settings, you go into your account, you look for skills. It looks like this. Take a screenshot. And inside of my skills folder, I've built not just one prompt as a skill. Some of these skills have got 50 files that make up these skills. Claude loves skills, and I love building skills because what happens is it means that it saves me a fortune and I don't have to remember what I did, right? So I've got the DocuBoss. That creates documents better than Claude does. I've got this FFmpeg one-off skill, which does something cool with video that I don't need to get into right now. I've got a scrub video gen. It's like, what even is this thing? Well, I'm geeking out and doing some crazy stuff with video. You might not need that, but I do have something that everybody needs. And I've got a banned words and phrases skill, right? So the first thing Claude does before it writes any copy, it writes any email, it does anything for me, is it checks my banned words and phrases. And those words and phrases include no M dashes will ever appear in my AI copy. It will not use language like, crazy language that AI uses, right? This is not this is this. And you think, ugh, AI's written it. I've removed all of that stuff. It doesn't make hype, false promises. It does nothing crazy. And it's all based on one skill. Then I have client boss, which will literally send invoices to clients. I have reel boss, which will make reels for social media. I have UI boss, which does a bunch of fun stuff with websites. I have funnel boss that's trained on every single type of funnel that I could ever imagine. And it picks the right funnel for the job and it builds it. I have script boss to write my scripts. I have webinar boss to build my webinars like this. Anybody think these slides are good? These slides took webinar boss like 10 minutes, the whole thing. I've still got a few to go, right? You build skills, right? And what this means is you're capturing, you're storing, you're repeating, and you're scaling. So every time you find a good prompt like the one we've just done, you repeat it and you make it repeatable. And the easiest way to do that is just go to Claude and say, should we have a look? You want me to show you this? Like exactly how I do it? We take this off the screen. We stop the screen. Let's share the other screen. This is useful, right? So we go back, add to stage. It's getting hot in here, right? I've got all these lights and computers, right? Everybody see the screen, right? You all see the screen? Everyone see the screen. So you can big up your AI if you like, but you don't really need to say please and thank you. Turn this into a skill so that we can repeat this process without continually having to type. Ensure this skill produces consistent output every time we apply it by doing the research, creating the prompt, and then running the prompt on itself. We'll call this Prompt Boss, and we will add it to our skills library as a skills file. That's the key. That's what I've got a bunch of bosses that do a bunch of boss stuff. And every time I want to do research on a topic, make a prompt and apply that prompt back on itself, all I need to do is say run prompt boss on this idea and it'll go and execute the same thing. Now, clearly I've got boss suite conventions now because I've built a big bunch of skills. And if you're a geek and you love conventions and naming conventions, and which I know some of you do, then you can have some fun with this. This is what they say when it comes to training your bots. This is what people are talking about when they're talking about agents, right? It's checking my house conventions because I've built a bunch of skills already. When you're doing your first one, start with a band list. The easy way to do this is to go into Claude, go to your profile, go to skills, and it actually has a skill maker skill. And you can go in there and say, hey, Claude, I want to create a band list that prevents you from ever sounding like AI using M dashes. Do the research, then create the list of things we should never use, then create the skill. And every single time you go to write anything in Claude, it runs a skill. It's going to go and do some fun stuff. It's going to make a skill, and then it literally gives you a button to press and install it. Now, we might not have time to see where that goes. Number one, because I'm going to melt in the studio. So I'm going to take this off the screen, but does everybody get the idea of what it is that I'm talking about when it comes to using your voice, number one, then asking in the right way, and then turning that into a skill that can be reused? You just watched me do all three. We've not been on for an hour. But there is a bit of a problem, right? Because if you see me do it once, it's not the same as it becoming yours. And there's a few things I'm going to do in a second. I'm going to give you some downloads, and I'm going to give you access to me and a few other cool things as well, just to make sure that you actually get over the line and you actually do it, right? Does it sound good? So doing it once is not doing it every week. So the habit is simple, and you've got to keep at it. Resist the keyboard. Use the app that I gave you, right? I'll put the link in there for the app again, so you can go and get the app from the link as soon as we finish up, and I am probably going to be about 5 or 10 more minutes, right? Is that cool if we have 5 or 10 more minutes just to make sure everything's covered, everybody's understood? So get that link at the end. I'll put it in at the end again. And don't just do it once every 3 days. I'm going to go. Don't be typing. Use this thing on everything you do. It's free, it's safe, it's the coolest thing ever. It tracks your words and it helps you build trends and understand what your most commonly used words are and how you speak and what kind of speaker you actually are, right? So bear that in mind. Doing it once is not doing it every week. You need to be consistent. There's 2 roads. You can go and take the 3 things that I've showed you. You can take the couple of guides I'll email out to everybody, and you can hope that it all sticks and that you get used to it and you be consistent and you build the habit. That's going to be amazing. Or I've got another opportunity where I've talked to a few people who are on this call about this already. If I haven't, then hang about and we'll tell you what this is. Every week, I'm going to do this group session, and I'm going to give away a session as well to somebody who's on this call. And I keep this running for a little while as well, so I'll make sure I pick somebody that's registered from the list. So we'll make sure somebody gets a free month access to this. It's not going to be free, but every week you can get in the room with me for an hour on a Tuesday, and we can go over what you're doing to keep you on track and also answer any questions and do some other fun creative stuff that we can't do on a free training, right? So there's a couple of paths. Whichever path you take one. Don't be the person that goes back. And if you already know which way to go, then you don't need convincing. You just need the door, and I'll give you that in a second, right? So whichever door you go through, this will work if you turn up, right? And this is important because whether you try and do it free or you decide to join the group, which I'm going to show you in a second, you've got to turn up. You've got to put the time in. You can't be the person waiting for those replays that you never watch. So many people I see on social media type replay, and then they never turn up for the replay, they never implement. This is something that everybody can do, and I want to give you literally an hour a week of me, and you just bring what you're stuck on, and we fix it there and then on the live, right? If you go the other way, you've got to put the time in your calendar. You've got to make the time to go out there and try it. But if you do want to come with me, and you do want to hang out once a week, and you do want access, and you also want all of your problems solved, and you want to learn better prompting and talk about skills and all of the things, I want to show you the room, right? So it's cool. I can just show you the room. You can put a 1 in the chat. Just think about 30 days from now, whichever way you go, you're talking to the AI daily. It feels normal. The blank page isn't scaring you anymore, and you're actually making inroads, just like what I've got. I've created a skill. I can use it again. I can say a few lines, and AI does a big bunch of cool stuff. 60 days from now, you've got a big handful of saved skills, and you're doing the work that you hate doing is just repeating and automating. And that means you get your evenings back. I've been sat out like around the pool with the kids, talking to AI momentarily, and it's produced so much cool stuff today. It's insane. And all of that's saved in my cloud. Everything that I repeat, I turn into a skill. And this is helping me furnish big deals and travel and do the things that I actually want to do. All right. 90 days from now, just think when you built up all that experience, the things that have put you off in the past are up, built, running, and you've actually built your own infrastructure without relying on anybody. You did that by talking, by asking, and by repeating. Talk, ask, repeat. Voice prompt skills. Put voice prompt skills in the chat. So if a minute of talking turns into an hour of typing, that's a good deal. So if you could swap a minute of talking for an hour of typing, how many times would you do that? That's the whole point of what I'm trying to give you in this training. Have I been successful of making that message land that you can literally swap a minute for an hour? So you get an hour of life if you give me a minute. Do you want to do the deal? What is the hour then worth to you? Right? Because if this voice prompt skills method just saves you a single hour a day, right, and you put your hourly rate on it and do the maths, that's pretty good, right? So there's no question about any prices of anything that you're doing, right? The price, you're either going to work your way in or buy your way in. What I'm giving you today is a little bit of a hybrid of both. What you've got to look at is 1 hour a day minimum saved worth more than what it cost you, which in this case is a minute of talking, saving it, replicating it, and using it over and over and over again. So all you need is a keyword the next time you want to go out there and make that exact same process work for you. That's why I'm excited. That's why I wanted to jump on with you today, and that's why I wanted to do this training. So now you know the how, right? The knowledge is yours. You can take it. I'll give you some downloads. I'm going to give away a free spot for a month on this group training as well. There is like one open question. And before I ask that, and before I pause that, this is just one thing that I did today. I ran one of my skills and it created, how many's on there? 7 reels with a consistent character for a very specific purpose. That one of those reels is on my Facebook right now and has had 300 views, right? And it all came from one prompt, spoken, leveraging one skill. In fact, I did the prompt, I got what I wanted, and then I saved it as a skill. So now I can make a big bunch of reels just by talking. Does that make sense? Is it like, oh, you speak, you get a good result, you save it as a skill, and next time you don't even have to speak hardly, you just use one of those shortcuts and just say, hey, reels or Real Boss, and Real Boss on an ice cream commercial, and it'll do the work. It's like, use Real Boss to sell my product. See how cool it is? Here's another thing I did in 20 seconds. I used Box Boss. I said, hey, use Box Boss to create a box set for the webinar. And now it's put together a box set, which would normally have cost me like at least $100 on Fiverr to get all of that put together, or some software for $50 a month. Box Boss did it from one prompt, one skill, knowing the context, because we'd done the research, we'd had the conversation, it produced the output that I liked, save it as a skill, and now all I need to do is say, hey, do Box Boss on this concept. It might ask me a couple of questions, but I speak it and it's done. What would it be worth if you just had Box Boss to do all of your graphic design and it came out to that standard? Like, this is what I'm giving you. Now, good question, Claude or ChatGPT. There's an arms race between all of these models right now. Test them all. Use as many as you can. I pay Claude and ChatGPT $20 a month each. It's like $40 a month to have. It would cost me $40 or more just to have this one graphic. I've made this entire presentation, the entire funnel, reels, graphics, everything from one prompt inside of Claude. And I actually used ChatGPT to make this image. So I took the Claude prompt and put it in ChatGPT. So I needed both. They've both got different strengths. They're both competing. New model came out on ChatGPT. New models are going to come out on Claude. Everybody's fighting for your attention right now, and you're in the middle of this perfect storm where you could just get the best intelligence. We literally are leveraging hundreds of thousands of dollars of expertise for the price of a prompt and a good ask for $20-40 a month, right? Use them all. I spend like $1,000 a month on AI because I know how good it is, because that turns into an insane amount of money and impact and time saved. And sometimes it's not even about the money, right? It's like, how much more time can I spend with my kids? If doing what I've shown you today saves you 7 hours a week, produces better content, and makes your life easy because you can repeat it automatically, isn't that worth just signing up to a bunch of AI stuff to test? Every test has got a result. If you don't like it, pause it. Do you think that you would have more chance of being successful, being more productive, and have more time to do the things you actually need and want to do while AI does the heavy lifting if you just talk, ask, and then repeat? Right? You put a 1 in the chat if you agree with these questions, because I'm thinking, man, if only I had this when I was trying to figure out how to build that damn music website all those years ago, or when I was trying to build a funnel, pack boxes, talk to customers all at the same time. This is so good. It's fair to say you would also have more time for training and future learning to stay ahead of that arms race, that head of that curve, right? So you can grow your skills, you don't go stale, and you don't deviate from the most productive path ever, Because the minute you stop doing this, you're just like, hey, well, ChatGPT, it doesn't know how to make images. And then the new models come out and you didn't even know. So it kind of makes sense that you do allocate at least one of your 7 saved hours a week to training or continual improvement and continual learning, right? Everybody's no kidding, right? So in the next week, you become better at prompting. Next month, you become better, sharper when asking. And in the next year, you're going to transform your business, potentially your life, not to where you may be or you could be, to where you actually should be and beyond, just by leveraging voice prompt skills. And if that's the gift from today, has that been worth swapping 60 minutes of your time? And look, facts are that some people take this information, they go and dabble, and they go back to do what they always did. Other people take this information, go and be successful. Without the latest information to take and without some accountability, you possibly will fall off track. And that's just the way these things go. I've done this for long enough with enough people to know what comes next. It was a great presentation, Danny, and you take a bunch of downloads and PDFs and you put them in a folder, and maybe you go and try what I've just showed you, and you think, oh, I can't remember what Danny did, or I don't want to bother him and ask him a question, right? That choice is yours. But I've also put together something awesome that actually gives you access to me, gives you access to other people on the same journey, allows you to grow, develop as the AI grows, get the latest information, and do that without having to go out there continually looking. If I'm not telling you, it's probably not worth it, right? Because I'm into every single thing. I'm testing all the models. I'm testing all the ideas. And this is just scratching the surface. There's only so much I could show you in 60 minutes. I've put together a simple group session. It's one call each week. And if we just spend 5 more minutes, I can show you what that looks like, how you can get into it. And I want to give one person access for a whole month on me, just for the sake of it, just so you can see how good it is and if it moves the needle for you, right? So let me know in the comments if we just spend 5 more minutes. I know we've gone over the hour, but just talk about this group session that I've put together and why this will be so valuable, especially if all the things I've showed you today are of benefit for you and your business, which clearly I think they are. Everybody's agreeing. I've got lots of ones in the chats. Is it okay if we just spend a second and just go through this? This is like something I wanted to do for a long time, and I think the time is right for this. It's voice prompt skill weekly. Simple as that. And it's a live room. It's not like this. It's on a Google Meet. Everyone can come. Everyone can share screens. You can talk. You can ask questions. And what we do there is we record these things, we transcribe these things, and everybody's problem becomes everybody else's answer. You learn together, you grow together, and I sprinkle in the latest from the AI. I give you ideas and techniques and show you on the screen behind the scenes, and we make sure that everybody comes off this call with their problems solved and their questions answered in relation to what we're doing with the AI. So that's the game plan, and this is what you're going to get if you decide that you want to sign up. And it's worth quite a lot of money, and I'm not going to charge you anywhere near what it actually comes out at, right? So the first thing you're going to get if you sign up to our Voice Prompt Skills Weekly is we go all in on talking to the AI, the speed, the depth, the flow, how you articulate your ideas, and how you leverage the latest in voice technology. I've got software that I've had out there for a while called Drop Voice. I've also got other software out there that is making a big impact. But the one I shared with you earlier, the one that everybody should download, the one that I'm giving you again at the end, is something that we will leverage as the foundation. And we'll take that and we'll build skills on top of it. So you're going to get the voice training. And anybody comes to that call, pulls out the keyboard, you're going to get thrown off, right? Because this is like so serious that we can literally prompt with our voice. That means you can do anything with your voice. At some point, keyboards will be obsolete, right? Hold that thought. Keyboards and the mouse, you will no longer use it. Everything will be voice. We are on that trajectory right now. Would you rather be somebody trying to figure this out in 2 years, or do you want to just get in and go all in? I know exactly where I need to be. Next thing is the prompts. Not just how to prompt, but some of the fun stuff that we've just done. And as you guys develop prompts, I noticed somebody was talking about trading earlier. You bring that to the group. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And we enhance what you're doing. So not only are you using your voice, you're also leveraging the quality of the input to leverage the quality of the output, the context, the goals, the details, the structure, the examples. These will be weekly discussion. Fast, but supportive, rapid fire, not big long coaching calls, your questions answered, so you can go back and you can implement, and then you can bring the next step back the following week. So you get the voice, you get the prompts. Also, skills in abundance. Not just the skills, what you do, but when we're saving skills, we're also sharing skills. We're building skills together. You can sell skills. If I was to sell you my skill set from Claude that turns out this entire thing in one prompt, what would that be worth? Put a number on it, because you ain't getting it. What would it be worth if you developed your own? Do you think you could sell 10 of those for $30 each if they got to the point that they were so good that you could build slides and videos and all of the things that you would ever need in your business? Some people do trading. Some people have got non-profits. Some people, everyone do different things, right? I need this stuff because this is what I do. You develop your own skills to support what you do. That's the benefit of being part of video, the voice prompt skills sessions. The biggest piece on its own is the room itself. And it's literally one call a week with me and everybody else in person. If there's 3 people on or 30 people, in fact, there won't be 30 people on. There's a reason. If there's 3 people on or the rest of the group's on, this is the place to come on time every single week at a time that suits everybody on Google. And we all get on. It's recorded. It's transcribed. Everything's done in the right way. I chair it. I organize it. I build it. I make sure everybody's happy. You ask anything. You get unstuck. Everybody gets a good amount of time to share the questions, share their asks, and share what they're doing. So all of that can be repurposed for everybody. Everybody learns. And it's a mutual agreement when you join this. The room is what you're paying for. The rest of it is what we do in the room. Total value of that is quite a lot. And I want to add some extras to this as well, just so everybody knows how good this is going to be, right? And there's 4 extras for now, but there'll be more extras as we do this, right? So first thing you want to do is make sure every time you attend a session, you get the whole workshop transcripts. Everything's transcribed, ran through one of my AI skills, so that always the notes are meaningful. This is not a jumbled up mess of you don't know who said what. This is meaningful notes. You can also bring your own bots into the chat. So you can bring your fireflies or whatever you need to do to make sure that you're continually ahead of the curve. There's also a prompt vault, which gets you started, which is, it's worth a bunch of money. I've got this in development and it'll be ready for Tuesday when we start. And I give you a skill vault, which includes those banned words and a few other things as well. So the total value of all of this with the workshop recordings as well is well over $3,000. And when you add all of that up, it's the honest sum of all of the things put together, right? So if you're in or you have questions, you can let us know in the chat. I'll keep going. 5 more minutes, then I'll do my best to answer any questions. Remember what these bits actually replace. The voice method alone is just replacing courses. The room replaces consultancy. And if you can't afford consultancy and you don't want to hire a coach, you can pay me 15 grand, like if you want, and I'm happy to work with you one-to-one. But this is a way for you to work with me, with others, get your questions answered and do it in a safe environment. That's the game plan. And we're going to start literally Tuesday. Piece by piece, if you put all these things together, it's like $600 each. And we're not going to charge you that, right? You're not going to pay the $3,550. Somebody's actually going to get access to this for a month for free as well, because I know how good it is, and I want you to see it. If you're in, if you've got any questions and you've got anything you want to add, you can put it in the chat right now. I'll get to it in a second. If you think that an hour of help costs like $500, if you come to me and say, hey, Danny, I need to run something by you, or I want to hire you for an hour, it's $500, right? 1 hour of consulting. If you go to Fiverr and get the crappiest Fiverr guy, you ever notice you go on Fiverr and it's like never $5? You pay $500, right? If you go and hire somebody who's at my level, who's done what I've done, and they know the worth and how good they are, then $500 an hour is the lower end of the scale. And try me. Unless I'm feeling generous and I know you, or we've got some kind of special arrangement, like, you won't get that, right? You don't want the crappy experience with Fiverr. to go and have to buy even more stuff or spend even longer, right? You get an hour every single week. So if you do the maths, what's 497 times 52? That's the minimum. If all I do is drop one nugget before everybody else understands how to use this thing, like I've just shared with you today, what's that actually worth? If all it did is save you an evening a week or 7 hours a week, like what's your hourly rate? Well, mine's 500, right? So if I'm 500 an hour and this saves me 7 a week minimum, then what is that actually? What's the deal? What's the swap? So this is not a hard sell, right? But this is limited by design. And I'll talk to you about that in a second. If all this did was get you like one thing built or you on the right track, knowing that every time you build something good, you can repeat it just by speaking a few words, like that's worth a fraction of what some designer quoted you, right? This is the place to be. And this is my objective to get this full in the next few days. It's live with me every week. You get the recording as well, but the room is capped. You get real time. You keep the skills. Anything you build, you keep it yourself. You can share it with us if you want. Whole point is it saves you more than it costs. And I want you to turn up. I don't want a massive crowd, right? There's not going to be a massive invoice. And the room is being kept small, right? I'm not bringing a big team. And this is the deal. It's $300 and it's $300 for the month. That means every month you pay $300. If you don't want to come back, you can leave, right? If you like it, you carry on paying $300 a month going forward. You can join right now at voicepromptskills.com/go. Dead easy. That's the whole address. I'm going to drop that in the chat right now. So you've got that and you can go and sign up. But here's the kicker, all right? This is the important piece to note. Right? This is the reason why this is even more valuable. Let me move my slides back. Your first session is guaranteed. So you pay $300, you come to session 1. If it's not for you, you cancel, you get your money back and you get to come to the second session. I would, if I was a betting man, bet that even if that happened, by the end of the second session, you go and pay $300. It might not be $300 at that point. It'll be more. So the real risk of all of this is literally an hour. And if you don't like what you see in the first session, you have your money back and you can come to the next session for free. There's only, at this point, 14 seats that are open. One of them, I'm going to give 1 month away for free to somebody who's registered for this webinar, and I'll pick that from the list. So you'll get an email if you're the winner. The way that works is you will get the month added on the end of your subscription once you've already signed up. Or if you've not signed up and you've disappeared off into the night and your name luckily does come up, then if there's space, you'll be able to join for the month, right? At this point, at the time of writing, because I've been promoting this in the DMs, there's 14 of the 20 seats available, right? There's only 20 seats. So if you're still sat there thinking, man, I really want to do this and there's some reason, then let me know in the comments. Otherwise, you go to voicepromptskills.com/go. You pay $300, you join on Tuesday. You'll instantly get an email with the Google link. And whether there's one person on there or the whole 20 people, you'll get my undivided attention. Now, the less people that join, the more attention you get. We've got 6 signed up. One's going to get a freebie rebate for the first month. If you can't make the sessions live, it's recorded, it's transcribed. Remember, you need to sign up on this call to get those bonuses so that I can give you all those transcriptions. If you fall behind, you can watch it again. And it's never going to be outdated. It's not a course. It's not something that's going to be out of date in a week's time. This is real. Ask anything, and I will be genuinely bringing you the latest research and updates from AI. You can do it if you're non-techie. If you want to bring your partner, if you want to bring your colleague, if you want to bring a team member, you can. And the only way to miss this is, like I said at the beginning, is just to close the tab and go. Everyone else, this is exactly what you do. You open a new tab in your browser, you go to voicepromptskills.com. I can't believe I got that domain, /go, and you take one of the seats. right? And I'll see you in the room this week. You get instant access, Google Meet, it's sign up, it's on your calendar, it's dead easy, and you talk, ask, repeat with me in the room. You can go the other way, you can go do it yourself, but if you do come with the Danny, I need to pick your brains, I'm just going to send you the link to the group. If the spaces sell out, I'll send you my other link, which is $400 a month to have access to me on Messenger. That's it. Danny doesn't do pick your brain sessions, and I charge minimum $500 an hour to work one-one to run something by me. 15 grand if you want to work with me one-to-one on a piece of work, which is probably going to be 2 or 3 months. And if you want me on the DMs, it's $400. So this is the easiest, most accessible opportunity to get in a room one-to-one with the other group of people every single week for 1 hour, so you can talk about all things AI and get the latest information. 6 seats are gone, already done. And if you're in, sign up, tell me, let me know in the comments. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. And I want to try and give away this. Now, it occurs to me some people are watching the replay, so I am going to pull from the actual list of people that have registered. There's a registration page, and I'll send an email out with the name of the winner. You can find them on social media. You can validate it. The best way to secure your spot is to sign up now, right? Remember everything that we did today. We talked to the AI, we ask it a certain way, and we duplicate and preserve the results by turning them into skills, voice prompt skills. If you want to go further, you want to be in the room and you want to work with us, and everybody's in. If you're in, let us know. Every single week, we get access to this session where we take it to the next step, the next level. Now, if you're already in and you've already signed up, this has not been a waste of time, right? You've still learned a big bunch of stuff. This is like the precursor to what we're going to be doing. This is going to run on replay for a few days. There will be other people coming to it. Don't be the person looking through the window thinking, crap, I wish I could have got into Danny's thing before I do it at a higher price. This is the best way for me to serve you. The next best way is in the DMs. The next best way is by charging you by the hour. The next best way is by working with me on a piece of consultancy, which is minimum 15 grand. And if you really want me to come and build all your stuff and do a big bunch of stuff with you and sit down in person, then there's prices for that as well. This is the most accessible, affordable, and probably one of the most fun, because it touches on things that you didn't know were possible. And when you see that with the AI, you know already. You talk with your voice. I don't want to see anybody using the keyboard. You turn that lazy prompting into real prompting with real answers. You save a skill that runs on demand. No matter what you decide right now, you can go and do that stuff. But if you want to bring your skills and ask the questions and you just want to get unstuck and get there faster, the first session at the time of recording is Tuesday, right? You know exactly where the room is. You're going to get an email. It's as simple as that. You just go to voicepromptskills.com/go and you're in. Dead easy. And if you decide in that first session that, well, this is the worst thing I've ever done and I want my money back, I'll give you the money back and give you the second session for free, which is something that I'll stand by that as a guarantee, right? So it's simple. I don't want your money. I want you to be successful with all of this stuff. I'm like dying in this heat, so we're not going to drag this out. But nothing good happens until a sale is made. And this is my offer to you on this fine afternoon where you can actually get in a room with somebody who knows what they're doing, right? So it's dead easy. You sign up now, voicepromptskills.com/go. It's $300 a month, US. First session is guaranteed. We've only got 13 seats, 12 seats now, 10 seats. Do you want one of the seats? Right? That's it. That's the offer. That's the stack. That's the deal. And it's a steal. It's possibly sale of the century. The free seat, I am going to draw from the list of subscribers. If you want somebody to be lucky, you want your partner to enter that draw as well, just send them the link so they can watch the replay and they can sign up and then they can experience this. And once they've experienced it, then they'll be in the draw as well. So you have more chances of being in the room. I'm going to draw this by the close of business by the time the webinar finishes, which is like 2 days from now, right? Well, that winner will be announced live by the time we get there, and we'll make sure that goes out everywhere so everyone knows that's happening. But right now, just so you've got peace of mind, so you've got the space, so you're in the room, dead easy, voicepromptskills.com/go. It's in the chat as well. It's on the screen below. It's Danny Walsh. If you have any questions, let me know. That was 156 slides that came from one prompt with the videos, the scripts, and everything else that went with it, right? If you do want me to work with you personally to use my big boss skill and actually help you build all of this for your business, you won't necessarily get that in the group sessions, right? You need that more focused one-to-one. If you want to talk about that separately and offset some of your time or get both, then we can have that conversation. You can reach out on social media. But for now, man, we've been on for exactly 90 minutes, which is the exact beat of a good webinar. I hope that I've served you. I hope you guys have had a good time. Hopefully one of you guys will get that extra month for free as well. It's Danny Walsh from Preston, England. I will see you on the next video, and we're going to play out with a little message from a good friend of mine, Les Brown, and the man like Rex Sykes. I'll see you on the next one. It's voicedpromptskills.com/go. It's in the chat. I'll also put the link for the voice software itself, and I'll make sure everybody gets an email with all the freebies and goodies. Thanks for hanging out. It's Danny Walsh. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
We never should ask the question how. Nothing ever gets done when people stand around asking how. The times that we accomplish incredible things is when we make the commitment. Former President John F. Kennedy called a meeting. And when I was a kid, to illustrate that something was impossible, we would say, you have as much chance of doing that as the man going to the moon. John F. Kennedy called a meeting. And the meeting was set up to say that we're going to beat the Russians to the moon. And the question was asked, how are we going to do it? And he looked at Werner von Braun. He was a very brilliant scientist from Germany. And everybody was set to hear a long lecture of budget and the whole mechanics of what it's going to take. And he spoke these words, the will to do it. Just 5 words. How are we going to go to the moon? The will